Most people are trained to recognize authority. They look for uniforms, roles, credentials, and hierarchy. They assume the person in charge is the person with the most influence. This is usually wrong. Authority is permission granted by a system. Power is the ability to shape outcomes, with or without permission. Authority needs recognition to function. Power does not. A manager has authority over a team, but the person everyone listens to in private meetings often has power. A politician has authority through office, but the donor, advisor, or gatekeeper behind the scenes may have more power. Authority is assigned. Power is accumulated. Authority is limited by rules. Power works around them. This is why authority is easy to see and power is easy to miss. Authority operates in daylight. Power prefers the shadows. When authority speaks, it must justify itself. It cites policy, process, or mandate. When power acts, it rarely explains. It simply changes what happens next. Authority depends on compliance. Power depends on leverage. Leverage can come from information, relationships, timing, dependency, scarcity, trust, or fear. The strongest form of power is not force. It is influence over perception. If you can shape how people interpret reality, you do not need authority. They will move themselves in the direction you want. This is why real power often avoids visibility. Visibility invites challenge. Titles can be questioned. Decisions can be appealed. Orders can be resisted. But invisible influence is harder to confront. You cannot argue with something you cannot see. Authority creates obedience. Power creates alignment. Obedience is fragile. It breaks the moment enforcement weakens. Alignment is durable. People protect what they believe they chose themselves. This is why organizations with heavy authority structures often feel slow. Decisions travel up and down chains of approval, and energy is lost at every step. Meanwhile, informal power networks move quickly. A single conversation can override months of formal planning, not because it was authorized, but because it mattered. Authority tells people what they are allowed to do. Power determines what actually happens. In many systems, authority is the public story. Power is the private reality. This gap explains many apparent contradictions. Why competent leaders fail. Why outsiders succeed. Why rules are enforced selectively. Why some people seem untouchable. They may lack authority, but they control something others need. They may control information flows, access, reputation, coordination, or momentum. Authority can be revoked overnight. Power is harder to remove. You can fire someone, but you cannot easily remove their network. You can change a title, but you cannot instantly change who people trust. This is why power often survives regime change. Boards are reshuffled, executives replaced, policies rewritten. Yet the same outcomes persist. Because the real power was never in the job descriptions. It was in the incentives, the dependencies, the informal agreements, and the unspoken rules. Authority asks, what am I allowed to do? Power asks, what can I influence? Authority waits for approval. Power creates conditions where approval becomes irrelevant. This does not mean authority is useless. Authority coordinates at scale. It provides structure. It reduces ambiguity. but it is a tool, not the source. Confusing authority for power leads to strategic blindness. You negotiate with the wrong people. You prepare the wrong arguments. You misread resistance. You assume compliance when alignment was never there. Those who understand the difference act differently. They invest less in titles and more in leverage, less in visibility and more in positioning. They pay attention to who influences decisions before they are announced, who controls access to information, and who others defer to when stakes are high. These people may never appear on organizational charts. They may never speak publicly. They may never claim credit, but outcomes bend around them. That is power. Authority is the signpost. Power is the road. If you follow only the signposts, you miss where things are actually going. Understanding this difference does not make you cynical. It makes you accurate. It allows you to see systems as they are, not as they present themselves. And once you see power clearly, you stop being surprised by outcomes. You start understanding them. Want to see the hidden rules shaping money, power, and human behavior? Subscribe to Unseen Forces.